All right. Go ahead and call the Community Development Committee meeting together to order. Here's Mr. Ludi. How are you? Okay. So we want to, first of all, we'll take our roll call. The members who are present for the CDC are myself and Andy Bakke. And then we're going to take a motion to excuse Amber. She's not feeling well, so.
Make a motion to excuse Amber from this meeting.
Okay, and then I guess I'll second it. Okay, and so then we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so excuse Amber. And then we want to take a moment before we jump into the Historic Signage Committee pieces to review the minutes. So if we could review those minutes, and where is that copy? There it is. Okay. Okay, any questions or changes that we need to make? Okay, so do we have to vote to approve these minutes? Okay, so let's have a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
All right, and I'll second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we've approved the minutes for the March 7th Community Development Committee meeting. There are a few things that we want to cover first with the Historic Signage Committee. So thank you for being here, Mr. Ludi. Selma did text me. She had something that came up with her family, so she's not able to be here. I do have an application here from the God Save Gun Shop on Cherry Street. And so we're gonna review that. And Mr. Ludi, I'll get you a copy here in just a second. For now, the other pieces on here, as you're looking through this, I think the historic signage brochure, unless there were any changes that, especially we're missing some members here today, I think maybe we'll table that until the next meeting of the Historic Signage Committee. And then also with the signage ordinance, unless there were any other changes on that, we'll just go ahead and table that because we're going to have to vote on that in council. We'll have to vote on those pieces. Is that correct?
Of
For the approval of the brochure and the ordinance,
yeah.
At least the ordinance we'll have to vote on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have anything that you saw in there?
I thought the brochure looked pretty good, pretty straightforward.
Okay.
I think just we talked about how to get that out to new businesses, whether we mail that out to them or maybe have the zoning officer possibly distribute those out, or how we want to make sure that they had access to that was, I think, the only thing.
Right.
I think I forgot my file, but I did see some grammatical errors on it. If you want to, but I didn't bring it with me.
Okay.
And I didn't try to call you. I meant to,
That's all right.
but I just call you later. So
Yeah, if you want to call, or if you want to just email it to me with what you've seen on there.
About that folder though, I apologize.
That's all right. So if you want to just take a moment and look over this because we want to go ahead and get this approved for this business as quickly as possible, because I know that they turned it in a while ago. This was our next available meeting.
So they are asking for approval on the sign.
Yes.
Where does this sign go? I know where they're located. Does it just go on that wall?
Let's see, on location on the building or property where sign is to be installed or erected about halfway down on that front page on the face of the building just left of the door and mounted as required by ordinance number 1185. So it's, the way that I'm reading it is it says that it's going to, at least what this signchef.com says, that it's going to be a double-sided, so it looks like it's going to be hanging from an arm, like a bracket. Yeah, right angle.
Is it lighted?
I don't believe so. The material is premium high performance cast vinyl and laminate for maximum. Well, I believe it's similar to some of the signs that have been put out on those right angle signs recently on Coldwell Bankers and Techna titles. So it's probably a similar material to that.
So that is the business is directly next to the Grant mural, correct? The newest mural?
Yeah, it's going to be in the backside.
It's the first business
But-
next to the mural.
Yeah, like, you've got the hair salon and then God Save
Mhm.
and then the mural,
Right.
right? So
Okay,
they wanna come out this way, like the,
off the building. That's what I'm reading here. 'Cause it's
Or
gonna
hang over the sidewalk.
how does that help them coming this way, but versus it being on the building? So if it's this way, you only can see it if you're going down Main Street.
Is it double-sided?
Yeah, it's double-sided. Yeah,
So it's going to hang, when it comes out, you'll see it no matter if you're coming
Yeah.
either direction.
You're not gonna see it from 125 though.
That's what I was thinking. Cause if it comes off the building, it can only be hanging like this and you're
Right.
sitting at the light and you don't see it. And that's a direct vision forward.
where is that at on here? If you're looking at this.
Let's see, so it's in the back. Right.
So is it on the end of the building or is it? Right here is the historic district. Is it in the, it is 100% for sure in the historic signage district or historic district, right?
Kelly shaking his head yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but it's right on it's on the backside though.
So if it's right, oh, it's on the backside.
Well, I mean, just like, basically just inside of, I think because that only goes, does that go to the end of that street?
It doesn't go all the way down to the salon. It's just short of that.
Is this the salon right here?
Yeah, so it's probably, I'd say that's probably about the boundary line for the
Pretty close.
district, isn't it? Yeah.
Pretty close.
So it's gonna, what it's gonna do, do you have this map? So I'm looking at it as 148 there on Cherry Street. Their address is 110, but I think these are just numbered for us to work. Right, so if you see it there? So their sign will hang off of there and they'll be able to see from both sides. Does that make sense?
Still thinking it through.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could see it to be visible either way, traveling on Cherry Street. And then if you looked, I guess, to your left, if you're on Main Street and you're at that light right there and you look down to the left, like where the hair salon and all that stuff's at, you would be
Yeah.
able to see it there as well.
if you see right here, see how it'll hang that way, so you'll see it from here and from here.
Yeah, it's gonna come off like, like it's just gonna come straight off the building, right? And then the sign's gonna be visible this side and this side, basically.
On Cherry Street.
Yeah, on Cherry
right.
Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was their choice.
Yeah, and I think it'll be, if that's what they want, that's.
Not necessarily, I just wonder, I mean, if that, not necessarily if that's what they want, because we do have a say in it.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious as to why they want to hang it perpendicular to the building versus, because I don't know if that's a good look right there. Think about that. You've got that nice mural, and then I think they're selling themselves short by not putting it just on the building, flat to the building in a sense.
Yeah, I think the only thing, if you would put it flat on the building, you would probably almost have to drive, like literally drive down there. I think if he has it hanging out a little bit, you might be able, it might catch your eye more going down Cherry Street. If you're sitting there at Main Street and you look down to the left, like down toward the hair salon, if you look this way, then you would be able to hopefully see that a little bit, or maybe visually some other way. Because I think if you're flat over the door, even if it's sticking out a little bit, you're almost going to have to be right by that sign to see it, I think. So I think he's looking at it from because it's not a ideal thing. You know, he's to your point, he's not going to catch 125 traffic or based on where that business is at, but at least that gives him, I think, the maximum exposure that he can get based on that space.
Do we have any other signs that hang like that?
Yeah, we have the Technititle.
Where's
It's
the?
right next to.
I know where Technititle is, but I don't recall. I know they have the lighted sign at the top. It's flat on the building.
Yeah, no, they have a wrought iron bar that hangs off with that.
Hangs out over the sidewalk.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's the Coldwell Banker one over by the post office, right by Rebecca Varney's place.
What do you guys think?
I mean, myself, I think it needs to be approved. He's, trying to get his business going and got the application in. If it's conducive with the requirements of the historic district, which it sounds like it is. And I mean, if that's his choice on hanging that up, as long as it, complies with everything. My personal opinion is we approve it.
Does it comply though? What are the requirements of the signs for the historic district?
Let's see. Got your brochure still with me.
There you go.
And it looks like he's got the application filled out. I think from a material standpoint, he's good because it's not like a light up sign based on what this quote is that he turned in. Let's take a look here. And
So if you go to, and I don't know if anybody has the ordinance in front of them, and we're still adjusting that, of course, that's something we need to get approved. Right angle signs, a sign attached to right angles to a building can have no more than 2 faces and can provide no more than 4, can project no more than 4 feet from the building. So
he's good on that.
yeah, 36 inches is the length of the sign. 32, let's see, yeah, 36 inches is the total length of the sign, the actual sign, which then you have the bracket as well. And then we have, let's see what else it says. Right angle sign is allowed for each street level entrance door to a business establishment, and the business that the sign advertises must have at least 15 feet of horizontal linear wall facing the street. One additional right angle sign is permitted for each upper level floor access. So it doesn't matter. The bottom of the sign must be at least 8 feet above ground level.
So he'd probably have to get towards, because I don't think that building's really tall, if I remember right. So he'd probably be up toward the very top of that, I would think. Yeah.
And then just after that, signs may not be attached to roofs, chimneys, smokestacks, stair towers, penthouses, and the like. I don't have to worry about that with that. Area of each sign may not exceed 12 square feet on either side. The area of only one side of a projecting sign is used to calculate total signage on a building. No exposed permanent wires or turnbuckles are allowed on a right angle sign. So that's what we have for a right angle sign. I believe it probably meets all those requirements. Maybe we say, unless we have it in here, it doesn't tell us exactly anywhere that I've seen how high off the ground it will be. But I think, Kelly, if you can make sure that he knows it has to be 8 feet off the ground, and as long as it's not protruding more than 4 feet with the total of that bracket, I'm in favor of approving it myself as well.
Well, I think just a little more too, if he's got the approved zoning permit, if you read the fine print there, it says that the zoning administrator reserves the right to revoke this permit based upon false information. And also he allows entry and inspection. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it may be something that he would coordinate with the zoning administrator, prior, if we approve his sign prior to maybe just getting this is exactly where it's going. So that way we can make sure that he's in compliance on that.
So I'm curious if that building is even 11 feet tall.
If it's,
If it's not, if it's only 10 feet, well, even if it's 10 feet tall, then you're coming down another 2 feet, so you're 8 feet. If it's any shorter than that, you run the risk of people walking under it and hitting their head.
good.
I'm just trying to think, is that building even that tall? I'm trying to look for a picture of it, but I have to find it, so. Yeah, that would be my concern. I mean, obviously, I'm really wanting to make sure businesses can get their signage up and, they need to have signage. I would just say that that concerns me, how tall the building is in comparison to how big the sign is. That's a 3 feet by 2 feet sign. So again, however tall that building is, you got to keep that in mind. And then if it isn't that tall and that big of a sign's on there, that's going to really stand out right there in that area.
Are we able, Kelly Jones, to have the zoning administrator maybe check that? And then if we did that, I mean, my only thing is I hate to make this guy wait another month is the only problem.
Outside and eyeball it.
Sure.
This building right here?
Yeah, so it's.
There is a step up to get into the building, so
Yeah, it's right.
you just don't walk in the building
Yeah.
A standard
on the
door,
level of the
what,
sidewalk.
7 foot?
Come on, look. You guys look for it, I'm gonna look outside.
Like a standard door is going to be 7 foot, right?
I would think that's 10 feet because that's the old bank right there, which
Yeah.
that's obviously the 2-story and then everything else.
Part of the second, double-story portion of that building, or does that go drop down right there?
That's part of the
Okay.
second story.
You got to think, so if you have a bracket, 24 inches is the height of the sign, right? So then you're going to tack on I'd say at least 4 inches for the bracket. So, I mean, I think if it was even with that,
probably at least 11 feet. He's got the two windows and the door all grouped right there together. So where is he putting it?
Well, he says according to his application, just to the left of the door.
Yeah, so I think a standard door is about 7 foot.
Mm-hmm.
And so then
Add another,
I think
Yeah.
I think he'd be fine to clear that
yeah.
8 foot.
Kind of looks like it.
All right.
Doesn't like it. You guys will be hearing about it. Just make sure you got all your bases covered.
Yeah. But I think it falls within all the requirements. And so as long as it falls in the requirements,
Right.
we can't, if someone's not
Right.
gonna like it. Anyway.
That's why I asked you what are the requirements to make
Yeah.
sure that you were checking the boxes.
Mr. Louie, how do you think it meets all the requirements as well?
It appears that he's followed everything
Okay,
to the T.
so let's just vote on it. So all in favor of approving the application for God Save Gun Shop, say aye.
All right.
Aye. All right. Any opposed? I guess we all said aye. So we'll approve that. Kelly, will you let him know that, or do I need to let him? Mike Click, no? Okay.
Touch base with him. He's been working with him.
Okay. And then we'll reserve the right to, if it's does not meet those requirements, then we'll, of course. Yeah. Okay. I believe that's all that we have for the signage committee at this time. Once we get that brochure approved, do we have a printer that we use regularly? Do we use the print shop in town, or do we need to get it printed?
They've been using Perfect Print, I believe.
Dan at Edmonston on the
Up in
back street.
Georgetown?
Mhm.
Okay. So we can move forward with that as soon as we get that approved, and then we'll have the ordinance reviewed one more time and then put before council at the next, not this meeting tonight, but the next meeting. Does that work for everyone? We'll schedule another, I don't want to schedule that CDC meeting yet tonight because things will be potentially changing. So we'll let you know when that happens.
Okay,
Okay?
good enough.
All right. Thank you for coming in.
That's quite all right.
Thank you.
I didn't get wet.
The rain stopped just for you, so you can come out.
Oh, yes. Have a good week.
Thank you. Okay, the next thing on our agenda is the special events applications that are to be approved. Kelly, do you have any information on these you want to
Well,
share with us, or?
Yeah, I'll go over them briefly. They're pretty basic. The first two is the U.S. Grant Homestead Association. On April the 26th, they're having a school day. It's not going to involve a lot of village assets, police, or anything. I believe Ned said there was close to 100 kids that are going to come in, and they're going to do the tours and different events for the school kids one day. And then on the 27th, the following day, they're going to have another event here at the theater. They're not requiring any barricades or anything like that. Everything's pretty much going to occur on site. They've met the requirements on the contacting Chief Freeland and Chief Rocky, the insurance, everything's that is required is presented to the village. The only concern we really had was the number of kids, making sure they cross at a light, not one of the side streets. So they'll be coming across Main Street.
So with the So do we want to approve these two together? Is that how you want to handle that?
He broke it into 2 days. It's really one weekend event.
Okay.
So ever how the committee wants to handle it. But he did break it up into 2 different events.
He's got all the insurance requirement.
Basically, for committees' guidance on this, usually if it's a smaller event, I'm just requesting that the police chief and the fire chief respond by email on their recommendations, if any. If it, like the festival, Beer Fest, that's going to be a larger event. That's going to take a lot more input from the police and fire. These smaller events, not so much. So I'm not making the applicants jump through a lot of hoops. Just, touch base with them, let them know what's going on, the dates. And
Right. Everything that I see on here looks fine. Yeah, we'll do for let's vote on the 2. Yeah, you want to vote on them together or
Yeah.
separately?
Do you want to do them separate only because, and the only reason I say that is just for, I don't know, if insurance purposes, and not that it even necessarily matters, but I guess since they took the time to do 2 applications.
Yeah, that worked. I mean, it'll just take a second. So, so we'll vote on the U.S. Grant Homestead School Day for April 26th first. And do we need to make a motion for that, or do we just vote on it? Just vote to approve.
I would vote for it.
Okay, so all those in favor of the event for the April 26th for the Grant Homestead Association, say aye.
Aye.
And so that passes. And then we'll also vote separately here on the grant day for April 27th, also by the Grant Homestead Association. And we have all of the required paperwork and application and everything. So we'll go ahead and vote on that as well. All in favor of approving this, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so those 2 are approved. And we'll move on to the next one that you have for us, Kelly.
all right, there's 3 in the next packet. These are all from the Courthouse Square Association. You have a concert on the square for June the 15th. You have another one scheduled for July the 18th, and a third event for August the 3rd. Again, all the necessary paperwork's been filed with myself. I've met with Carol Myers on each of these events. Basically, we just use the same documentation, all 3 events, one association. There's no changes. Now, if you remember, Carol was planning another one on July the 4th. I don't know where that one stands. I haven't talked to her lately.
The only difference that I see, let me see if I haven't missed it, is on the previous events that we just voted on, there was a letter or an email from the fire chief. Do we need one from him for these concerts?
Thought I had that, let me double check. Let's see if he covered both events.
I did discuss it with him, I know
Okay.
that. Okay, it's on the bottom of the next to the last page of the U.S. grant. He covered both events on one email. And after meeting with Carol Myers concerning the concert on the square events, it's my opinion that having, excuse me, I'm sorry, that's from Chief Freeland. Let me
I think it's on the very last page.
The very last one, yes. Chief Rocky's on the very last page.
Okay, I see it on the, yeah,
Yeah, I just didn't make enough copies for all of it.
okay. Okay, yep. So let's vote on each one individually as well. Unless you have any questions, Andy.
No, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Mayor, you have any thoughts on it? You good? Okay. All right, so we'll vote on the concert on the square for June 15th first. So all in favor of approving that event, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and so we'll pass that. Then we'll move on to the July 18th event, concert on the square. Also, all in favor of approving that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then we'll approve or vote to approve the August 3rd concert on the square. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so those three we will approve. And all five of those had all the documentation, everything we needed. So I think we're good there.
If you see anything, as this is a new process to all of us, if you see anything that you feel is lacking, just let me know. And
Okay.
we'll tweak things as we go. We'll make it
Right.
better. These are pretty basic, though.
Okay. So nuisance animal ordinance, I just left that on there for us that's something we're discussing tonight in council. Is that correct?
I believe, is it on there?
Yeah. Yep. So we should be discussing and potentially voting on that tonight. And then again, our 5-year plan, thinking forward, what does that look like for us? Where do we want to head? What direction do we want to go in? The development of the park and the additional parcel that we have back there. What else? I think we need to maybe potentially get community members involved, see if there are any ideas out there, what we should do. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, definitely want to look at that and look at how that maybe is going to enhance Georgetown in some way, what we want to do, if we're looking to develop that space. And I guess see what monies we have, and then once we figure something out, is there grants or other monies that we can utilize instead of using village money, maybe to get some of that developed back there is the hope.
Right. I would like to ask, maybe I'll ask Joe this, like if we were to be able to get some kind of recreation, like we're still looking forward to having a kickball tournament. We want to wait till the weather's a little better, maybe till the kids are out of school as well. And what are we allowed to do as far as, we talked about a Frisbee golf course as well, and we don't want to pump money into something when we have infrastructure issues. I remember you bringing that up, Andy. I think that we want to make sure that we're taking care of the most important things first. But what are we allowed to do as far as, can we have, this may be a question for Joe, can we charge for these events? Can we make a recreational league that is then ongoing every year that then pays for itself so that we're not putting money into something? So like I myself personally, I play softball. I used to play volleyball before my shoulders were ruined, and all this stuff. So I drive to Beachmont to play. I drive to, we go to Hamersville to play right now. Could we have something local for the community that we can do?
I think that would be something Joe would have to review.
So you probably have to be a 501c3.
Okay.
Like the sports associations that are out there, because they charge a fee, but then you're gonna have to have insurance and
Right.
go through that, but I wouldn't see.
I don't see a huge problem with it. I mean, it's, the only problem is scheduling. That's the
Yeah.
big thing, especially this time of year.
Right.
It's,
Well, I brought up in one of my first CDC meetings, I think, having redoing the volleyball court over there at the park and having a volleyball league, which I don't think that would be a scheduling conflict, because it's just, one court that I don't think anybody is ever really there. But I know I know a lot of people who drive from Adams County, Brown County, all the way out to Beachmont to play in the sand volleyball league. Could we do something like that here? So I don't know, just trying to think. My life's always been about sports, so those are the kind of things that I think about. And
We used to maintain the volleyball court a lot more than it has been lately. Never a lot of interest in it. Just never did take off.
okay,
Well, I guess one of the things at the park that people have asked me about is the walking path out there, just where it's so narrow and some spots, obviously, if it rains,
Right.
up at the mini lake out there. I don't know if that's something, if we can't get something like that for the five, if we can at least maybe revamp a little bit on
okay.
what we have.
Mhm.
I know there was some issues with some of the playground equipment out there at one time. I don't know if that got fixed or not, but some of that stuff at least that we have now, and look into that, because I think there's merit there to do that. But I think the timing of the year is going to be, that'll be the only issue. If the kids have knothole and softball out there, trying to wedge it between that and soccer out there, I think is both, I don't know, it's the same deal, but I think you could look at doing something like that.
I believe the Appalachian grant included, the original grant included the walking trail. And of course, that got narrowed quite a bit. Down the road, I don't know if that's something that we can apply for in the future. If not, it's something, I mean, I paved that when I was here years ago. I would have been at least 06, 07. Because Mayor Janges was here at that time. So it's held up fairly well, but our woods especially, it gets pretty deteriorated in there.
Well, I mean, we need to be thinking about these things, and I know like we have the potential for things to change the way that the committees look. So maybe we revisit this when we get in the full council. And then, so I put our upcoming meetings would be to be determined, because we don't really know what that looks like. I know the historic signage committee is probably going to have to stay in place. It may change some, but we'll talk about that later tonight. Any other questions or things you want to bring up? No. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
All right, I will second it, and I will call for a vote. All in favor of adjourning the CDC meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 5:39.